Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lobster Talks podcast by Lobster Capital, where we celebrate the bold thinkers and innovators driving change in the startup world. I'm your host, Gabriel Jarrison, and today I'm thrilled to have Laduram Vishnoi, founder and CEO of Middleware, on the show. Laduram, thank you for being here. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm grateful to have you here. So thank you for that.
Sure, awesome. So let's dive in. We want to know everything. We want to know about you and your story. But before, for people who are just, starting to listen to us right now, tell us, what is Middleware? What are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, so Middleware is an observability platform. So we observe how your application is running in the cloud, how your cloud is running. So we collect metrics, log, trace events. We do synthetics, RAM, like all of that, like end-to-end observability. So engineers can debug and fix the issue inside their platforms.
Perfect. That's awesome. And observability has been around for a long time, but actually, if I'm not mistaken, you're trying to do things a little bit differently. You're trying to adapt to the changes into cloud. Cloud is evolving very quickly, and some of the existing observability platforms don't evolve as quickly as the cloud. So you're trying to be useful for those users who want to use all the latest cloud resources available to them, correct?
That's correct. So our core focus for the observability is to observe microservices, cloud natives, and Kubernetes, because Kubernetes and cloud native environment is growing really, really fast. And our core focus, how we trying to do is this side of the world actually left behind, and we want to address that. And that is what Middleware is doing and what we're doing. Also, it's become so expensive, the observability. And then we were how we can cut down the cost for the customer by sending all the data, whatever is produced in cloud natives and Kubernetes. So that's what we focus right now.
That's awesome as well. I love companies trying to cut costs and prices. I remember you told me some stories of some companies, they have some success, and one morning they wake up and they have a bill of an observability bill of $2, $4, $5 million, and oh my God, it's so expensive, and you're going to be much, much cheaper, including with some new technology. I believe we can come back to that. And please don't forget to tell us about those technologies whenever is appropriate. So that's what you're doing today. That's really awesome and exciting. You're trying to bring change in a very, very big industry. Tell us a little bit about you. What's your story? What's Laduram's story? What did you do before this? How did you come to this idea?
Yeah, so I live in San Francisco. I moved here in 2016. I moved from London. So I started a company called Acquire. I run that company. So first time, labor behind that, I was went to the store. I'm originally Indian, went to the UK, did a study there, did a bunch of things. Then I started a company called Acquire. And we were getting quite a bit customer from the US. So I never been, and I first time came and I was okay, this is pretty good place to run the company, because I fall in love with San Francisco and city and all the ecosystem around the startups. So I stayed here. I run my previous company almost six and a half year. I took that company to 200 people. I raised 57 million in venture funding. My co-founder running that company. So this idea, how it came around 2017, 18. So we were building our core product, and we were using Kubernetes and microservices to build our whole applications. And we were looking for Kubernetes monitoring software. The biggest challenge for us was there wasn't that many companies doing it. There was one or two companies was doing microservices and Kubernetes monitoring, and they was so expensive. And then even their quotations, it was 3 times more than our cloud bill. So we were this is crazy. We are a seed stage company. We can't pay that kind of money. So what we did, we built a smaller version of observability at Acquire, at my previous company. And I just sit with 2 more engineers. We built a smaller version, and we still use that, and we just deployed it. And then when I was left Acquire and I was thinking about the idea, then I was okay, we already built that, the solutions. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna just build it properly so we can sell it to other people, talk to other people. They also had problems. So we just built it properly, and we started.
That's awesome. I just love so much when the founding story, and we've had this on the show already several times, just comes naturally, just comes organically. You're doing something else, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I have some sort of a problem, and boom, you actually fix your own problem. That's how I got started in some of my businesses as well. I think it's almost always the best kind of businesses that you're solving your own, scratching your own itch, solving your own problem. Tell me, was there a particular moment in time where, first of all, you realize you have the problem, but was there a particular moment where you're thinking, aha, like this is actually a business, this is going to be my next venture? Maybe it's when you realized other people were having the problem or people were willing to pay for that. What was kind of the moment when you knew you had your second business?
So I was talking to like a few friends, and they all are like technical people in technical companies. And then I was like, hey, I'm like thinking to build something in this space. How much you guys paying for your Datadog bills or Splunk bill or New Relic bill or something? And all the number that they gave me, I was like, oh shit, this is really crazy. And what we actually was like that time, so what we were doing is like how like cost efficiently we can run the data in the cloud, and then how like you can send like petabyte of data and fractions of the cost. We can host it, we can run it, we can process it, we can query it, all of that. When they was giving that, and they were like, okay, there is a business here. I think there's somebody's need to be changing this space, because this space was super legacy. These legacy companies doing it. Entry in this space labor hard because there are a lot to build to acquire an early customer, because observability been there for a while. So you need to be correlating all the metrics and logs and traces and like all the APM, and that take a really long time because then you're processing like a large amount of the data. So entry is hard, and that's the reason there is no that many companies. Nowadays there is quite a few companies, but like what the space where I come from the customer support space. There was like 1,000 companies doing customer support. But if we talk about the observability, entry is a little hard, but then I'm like, hey, somebody needs to solve it.
That's awesome. I love that. It's interesting. Those legacy businesses don't have a lot of competitors because they're such a high step to actually come in. How did you do it? What was your solution to solve this entry point, the price of getting into such a difficult business?
Yeah. So early on, so my thing is like, if I build a team here in like US, it's just very expensive. So from day one, what I did, I just put my own like labored over $500,000 to the company, and I hired like on 15 engineers based out of India. I built the office. It's not outsourced or something. I built the office there. I hired like 15 to 20 engineers from day one, and they were like, okay, the problem that what we're solving is this. We have runway for almost in a year. So what we're going to do, we're just going to be keep building for a year, and we're going to be probably get close to the beta launching or something. We worked very hard for almost in a year to build our first version. That's how I solved the problem. Because if I build exactly that in the US, it's going to cost maybe like over 10 million, 20 million, something like that. So I solved the problem, something like that. And then I raised the money, and then I hired the team here. So he says, I went like opposite directions.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, because of your previous venture, your previous company, you could invest large amount of money, build the team overseas in a place where it's much cheaper, and that's how you solved it. Very creative. Congratulations. And then you said now you build the team here. So do you still have some part of the team overseas and a team here in San Francisco?
Yeah. We are almost like 47, 48 people right now in the company. We have 30% team here in the US and 70% in India. We trying to keep the same balance, 30% here, 70% there. The same for engineering, same for other part as well. But mostly our go-to-market is everything here in the US. So that's we try to balance out.
That's awesome. I mean, we should double click on this because I'm sure this is interesting for a lot of people. We had COVID, we had full remote. Now it's back in the office, maybe a little bit of hybrid, like, Fridays can be remote or Mondays and Fridays. I see a lot in the Valley. There's also a lot of YC companies now who have, founders from Asia, from India, from Europe, who say, we're going to have two teams, one in France, I'm French, I see that, and one in the US, or one in India, one in the US, etc. So you've been doing this for several years now. Do you, how do you manage it? What would be your advice for, there's a YC founder watching us who wants to have a team back at home, wherever that is, with the time difference and everything. How would you do it today?
It's a little bit difficult. It's not like easy. The first things I say, like, it's not easy. I'm like, if you're trying to save the money, like if you don't have it, then you're trying to save the money, then of course you need to go for it. It's a little bit hard. Every night, my time, like PST Pacific time, we have like team meetings. All my team from the US and the India come. The meeting is like 9:30 p.m. Every single night. And we do it every single, I'm like Sunday to Thursday, that's what we do it. It's hard. And then I probably need to work at night until like 12, 1, 2. Normally I work from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then wake up next morning, go office like again 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m. That's the US. So I like need to do 2 shifts. That's need to do it. So it's hard, but then it's more scalable. It's like you can grow fast, you can build fast, you can go to market fast, because that's the team is enable you, and whenever you need the resources will available for you at least 3 to 4x lower the cost. So that's actually like what we needed. Like every single company nowadays, I think, need that to lower the cost, and then how you can actually grow fast there. So for the companies like YC and like I've been to YC, and that's we met there. I think there is a lot of talent in South America, a lot of talent in India, like also in Asia Pacific, a lot of talent in Eastern Europe as well nowadays is coming up. I think they should explore that and should have some people there and then try out first. I think they should try out first. And then if it works, then they just should think about that.
It's interesting because you mentioned South America. Basically, I'm going back to your first advice. It's you just don't sleep, right? You work when they work. So if it's 2 a.m., it's 2 a.m. You're still working. But I'm just listening to you. If it's South America, maybe there's not such a big time difference. Maybe the future of that kind of work would be South America. Obviously, for you having Indian roots, maybe it's more logical. But to kind of regain your control of your day and your hours and your night, would you consider bringing the team to South America if that was possible?
Yeah, 100%. I will 100% do it. It's just like only I went to the India because I have connections there. I know the people there. I know the lot of engineers there. So it's easier for me to manage.
Of course.
And then also I don't want to have an agency in between, because I want to have my own company there and here, and that company owned by this company. So I don't want to because sometimes if you have an agency in between, there is a lot of frictions. Then it's become expensive there too. It doesn't matter if that is in India or is in South America. If there is an agency in between, is like normally maybe like 1x, like maybe a little bit cheaper. It's not going to be that much cheaper. So I don't want to have that, and I don't have connection in South America, but the people have connection all over the place. I think they should be able to explore that part.
And I know this because I do still spend some time in France. I'm not full time in San Francisco, and so the time thing, you just got to adapt, and that's it. Even though I do spend more and more and more and more time in San Francisco. Do you go? That's what I do. I go back and forth. Do you go to India very often, or just very rarely? What's your schedule like?
Not very often. I probably don't need to, because we have a proper automated system there. So we have like complete part of the team, like HR and hiring, and we have accounting teams for all the account management. And then we have like all the different tiers of the different teams. So team, they have manager, and then they have their different leaders. So we scale it properly. I've been maybe once a year or something. Probably I don't need to, but then we do like team collaboration together. Like every single night we do the meeting. So I'm like, it's very transparent. And also like Slack, like any employee talk to anyone, and then like managing is not that hard, to be honest.
Yeah, Slack, of course. Slack, Zoom helps a lot with all of this. But it's super interesting. Again, it's a topic for so many people. So I guess if I sum up your advice, it would be work when they're working. So, just go with the time, and then be transparent. Just talk to them every day. You have a daily meeting. I think that's very good to keep the flow, to keep everything engaged. And then probably the last thing would be use the tools like Slack Any other tools that you use for productivity for developers? You use, I don't know, Jira, Trello. What's making your life easier?
So we were using this Jira before, and then kind of like move off from Jira, and then there is a new tool called Linear that we start using. It. We actually love it. It's pretty good company, to be honest. And the reason for that is so much more simple compared to the Jira. I'm like, Jira is there for like over a decade now. Linear is pretty good, to be honest. Like that's what we use for productivity, all the ticket assignment, everything there. And then I add one more point on that for the productivity is like sometime in the western side of the world, that like on this side of the world, like what we think is like we assign a task and we give it to our freelancers or the people in India, and then next morning we wake up and they will get it ready. Normally not going to happen like that. I'm like, it will happen, but it's not going to happen like how you want it to be. That is very important, that like that they need to work in a night. Is you need to sync with them. You need to work with them rather than you just assign a ticket and the next morning you just like, oh, this is like going to be completely done. I learned that lesson. So like I give a recommendation to people there.
That's very good. That's very, very interesting as well. And Linear, I've heard of them before. It's not the first time. I didn't try it, so maybe I will give it a try. Thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. And for everyone as well listening to us, you can try Linear if Jira is not working out for you. I want to very briefly move to another topic. You mentioned that you went through YC. I have the swag today. It's not every day like this, but this is how we came to meet. So I'm only investing in YC startups with now my fund, Lobster Capital. I chose YC because I think the startups there, the quality and the people that it attracts is just so much higher. So first of all, after I'm going to ask you, what did YC bring to you? But before, why did you want to do YC? What attracted you in YC to begin with?
I'm like, YC is an amazing community. If we compare about my previous startup, I tried like 5 times. I could not get in. So there was always there, like why I could not get it. Like we already made the startups and startup like actually goes to Series B. Like we did that, all of the things, but we couldn't get into YC. And then this time, one of my friends actually told me that, why don't you try the YC this time? You're like a solo founder. And I'm like, sometimes people just excuse is like, YC expensive. I personally say like, it's not expensive. If the founder is the first time, probably they 100% should do it because it's not expensive. Expensive part is just like if you make in your brain, then it's just going to be expensive. It's not going to be. I tried because there's amazing networks around the YC. There's really, really like they have their own platform is called Bookface. Like you can connect with any founder, any alumni. Fundraising is his help. Go to market is help. Type of the people you hang out is also matter. So I personally, if I start saying like why did the YC, I'm like I can give a lecture for an hour. Like why I shouldn't do the YC. I'm like 100% I should do the YC. But then there is so many perks. Like I think definitely founder need to do and try.
That's awesome. So you got rejected 5 times before getting in, and that's really cool. It shows your kind of your perseverance. And
I'm like, I'm sorry, like the 5 times I rejected for the previous company, and then we never get in. This company never get rejected. First time I got in. First time.
Yeah, so that's awesome. You needed, the right idea probably, but like you said, I mean, everything in YC is accelerated. You mentioned Bookface, where you can connect with founders and alumni. You can also connect with investors, and so, like you said, the fundraising goes so much faster. You can go back to building, and the community, like you said, there's this quote: "You're the average of the 5 people you spend time with." The people you spend time with at YC is really kind of a very, very high level. I don't know if you can share this number or not, but you ended up raising quite a lot of money after YC. So it worked out pretty well for you, right?
Yeah. I raised 6.5 million seed round. I think I was the highest raise in all batch. And I think was the highest valuations in all batch too. And we got, I personally got so many offer after even like I raised this much, like could have raised like 10 million seed round, but I was like, I don't want to raise that much. But I think that was like amount that I would like, I can scale the team and I can build it for next like almost 2 more years and do all the go to market and all of that. So that's where we end up there.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to check. I think you were which batch were you? Yeah, you were Winter 23. So you raised 6.5 million in the middle of the first quarter of 2023. Everything was going crazy. Interest rates, the Ukraine war, the SVB that went to zero. All of this was happening. No one was investing in startup at the time. And you just raised 6.5. That's pretty impressive, don't you think?
That's correct. Yeah. It was like really crazy. It was like literally middle of my round. I was just meeting and that's Friday. The SVB go crazy. Whole day I had back-to-back full meetings and all meeting got canceled. So I was like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen right now. Thankfully, my money wasn't there. I had raised labor money before too. So most of the money was in First Republic. So that was relief on my side. But then it was getting really, really crazy that day.
That's insane. But so yeah, if people are doubting the interest of YC of giving up 7%, here is an example. Go through YC, raise 6.5 million in the middle of the first quarter of 2023. It's probably March and April 2023 that you raised. So pretty insane, the results that you have. Of course, congratulations on that. I was going to ask you, what did YC bring you? I think you pretty much answered the question, but for someone who's watching us who wants to go to YC, there's a lot of people who are trying to get in. Do you have any advice as well on that? Because you didn't get in the first 5 times, and then you got in with a new idea on the first try. Maybe you have kind of an intuition of what was different, what worked this time around. Can you share that with us for people who want to get in?
I'm like, why should you really care about the founding teams than the actual idea? Idea does matter, but it's not like the first pillar. It's just like who the people and do they know how to build it? That's they really care about. They're optimizing for founders. That's what I see. Like the partner might see a different way, but that's what I've seen. Make sure you have a co-founder. That is matter a lot. But make sure the one person need to be a really technical. The person make sure have experience. Like you come out from the college and then you try to do it's going to be a little bit harder on site. So make sure you have a technical founder. And then the learning curve is very important. You make sure you put the extra time on your applications. When you're writing the applications, you cannot, like YC still say like you should write it really fast, but I personally disagree. I think you should put like a little bit extra time because they see it. Like how much time you put in applications. It's like, and I'm not saying like you need to put like weeks or months to writing application, but make sure you put a solid day to rethink about it. Like what you're going to answer it, how you're going to answer it. Then when the interview come, make sure you practice. And practice is really important because interview is really short. It's 10 minutes. Just go back to back questions. You cannot answer the questions for maybe like 2 or 3 minutes or something. You cannot lecture. It need to be answered straight. And then like practice is all about the interview. Before you do practice with like your founders, friends, or your VC friend, or like other colleague, company where you work. And then if they like you, then they will get you in. So I think those things is really important. That's they just probably need to focus.
That's awesome. I mean, that's great advice. Thank you very much for that. Very applicable for everyone who wants to get into YC. So that's awesome. Thank you very much. You just mentioned team. And so I want to ask you on that. You say, make sure you have a co-founder. You're actually a solo founder, as you mentioned. So, do you think that's a disadvantage for you? Hopefully, I don't think you do. So tell me how you see being a solo founder and how you manage that on a daily basis with, a team in 2 countries and everything else that you need to do.
I'm like, if somebody's building a first time, then I'm damn sure, like say, I'm 100% say like they needed a co-founder for sure. It's get easier. It's like, because you can share because it's going to be lots of ups and downs. For every single day, there's going to be lots of ups and downs. Like when you started startups. So I personally say, for me, because I already built the startup before, I knew the journey until like Series B. So they actually grill me. YC actually grilled me for literally that, like how you can be sort of founder, how you gonna do it. So I actually hired the team. I put my own money. I hired the team, and I was like, hey, if somebody's gonna come alone, and I'll find somebody's that gonna be really amazing, I'll have them as a co-founder. But I'm personally not thinking right now, because then if I cannot just go and look at like literally co-founder, because that's not my focus. I'm just already building my startups, and it's been almost like a year. The point of the time is like I was almost in a year, and so probably the people like, yeah, that's the first time founder, they should do it. But then I just manage. I hired the team. I hired the different people. My founding engineer came from Netflix, so he built the observability at Netflix. Then I have other founding go-to-market person. He was like first go-to-market person, not a first go-to-market, but first customer success person at Looker, like really early on. He was there for almost like 6-7 years. So like I attracted those kind of people, and then they worked with me each other. Yeah.
I think that's also kind of a great kind of story where I've seen it happen before, where you're not doing it alone because you absolutely want to do it alone. You're doing it alone because you're just moving super fast. You're just building. And if someone comes along and wants to join you, they can, but you're not going to wait. You're just going to start and build. It's not your first try. You know exactly what you need. And so that's what happened to you. Turns out you did it alone. You're still accepted into YC, which is in itself, it shows it speaks long about you, like your profile. Apparently you're someone pretty exceptional, because it's very rare that YC gets solo founders. And then you're one of the top raisers, again, in a very, very difficult time. I want to move this conversation a little bit more towards fundraising, because you just mentioned you're probably one of the best fundraisers I've ever had on the show. You've raised this kind of the biggest amount of your batch, and also in your previous startup, you've raised, I believe, more than 50 million. So tell us a little bit. Tell us your secrets on fundraising. What have you learned? What works? What's the secret there to raise so much and so quickly?
I'm like, there is a lot of things on fundraising, a lot of moving pieces everywhere. I personally feel preparation before raise is the most important. We cannot like just go and like design a deck and we're like, okay, I'm ready and I'm going to go and I'm going to raise the money. Like, it's going to be really hard. I'm like, people still do it. It's going to be really hard. The part before raising is the most important and most crucial part. Like, let's say if I want to raise my Series A, and let's say I'm going to raise next year, January, I will start preparing from September this year. I will prepare 3 months for every possible things that VC is going to ask me, and design my deck in such a way. I will tell my story in such a way. Story matter the most in the fundraisings. Like, I don't know why, but investors love hearing the stories.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So yes, need to prepare really good stories. Possible, all 4 pillars that you have in a company, make sure is covered. And what 4 pillars is, I personally say product and engineering, that is 1 pillar. So make sure like you have people, or make sure you're building it, make sure you have like every single side on the product is like covered. Make sure you have go-to-market motions in like sales, customer success, and marketing. How you getting a customer, how you're selling it, and how you supporting it. That 3 motions and 4 pillar need to be covered, because then they want to see it. Like, what's your inbound, what's your outbound for the marketing, like how you do it. But then once you get the customer, who sell it? Do you have experience to sell it? Do you have people to do it? And once you get a customer, do you have people to support your customer too? Because that's like very important in the go-to-market. And rest, HR and finance, and those are like a smaller the pieces of things that normally they ask, right? So preparation before practice, design a deck and practice at least 20 times, minimum 20 times. Wow. I recommend. And 20 times with not a VC, with your friend, but then not your colleague that you work at, maybe like MNC company, like big company. No, that isn't qualified. Practice with the founder who raised the money. practice with the VC friend that where you can get, they can ask you critical questions. Once you are perfect with the story, then put all the meeting together, maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, raise little money before you go to the market. So what will happen that you will create a little FOMO to the investor that, oh, this round is happening. So once you raise little money before actually go in the main round, then VC will say, oh, this is actually happening. If I'm going to miss out, you're going to miss out in like 2 weeks, 1 week. That's it. Do not give a unlimited time frames. It's like going to be like 3, 4 weeks. You need to decide you in or you out. And eventually you'll close the round. If it's seed, just go party round. It's the easiest way to do it. There is seed company. There is nothing lead and follow on. And I don't believe that. And YC even don't believe that. There is nothing. But then when you go in A, then make sure you run a whole full process. And then B and C is going to be like same, like how you run A.
That's really cool. I like that very much. Preparation and training, repetition, saying, the pitch many, many times with friends, with founders, with VCs who are going to challenge you. I think that's pretty awesome. Again, super solid advice. Thank you very much for that. Very actionable. And it works. You've raised so much using this technique. I want to bring it back to Middleware because your advices are so good on fundraising. I haven't talked about Middleware enough. But what can you share with us about Middleware, where you are right now? You've been through YC, so, roughly a year ago, we're taping this in April 2024. You went through it January to March 2023. So what's kind of the year after YC? How did it feel? And what have you done? Where are you right now?
Yeah, it was amazing year. After the YC too, there was a lot of moving pieces. Like our core focus was building, because that was core. So we started 2022, around March 2022, and then 2023 March, once we finished the batch, we finished almost in a year. And then we already knew that we need to build it, but then our inbound was really good. So we sold to quite a lot of companies, and that's how we're growing. We are going to be 50 people, maybe end of this month. And then we had a lot of POCs was coming. YC helped. YC, the name and then the branding is actually help for the marketing a lot, because once you announce it, once you go there, once you do some PRs, your inbound will just grow a lot. For companies, I think, and for us, that help us quite a bit as well. And then, now we are in a really good stage. We're growing really fast. We have a lot of customer. We roughly process around 2 petabyte data a month. So that's a large amount of data. We actually crash ClickHouse multiple times. So ClickHouse is a database engine that what we were using before. And then recently we just swapped ClickHouse. So what we did, we actually, ClickHouse don't have compute and storage are separate. They all are together. They do have a separate, but then they launched that as a cloud version, and they're not open sourcing it. So we were like, okay, this is going to be really hard. So we need to find some alternative. So what we did, we actually used the ClickHouse open source, and we did compute and storage separate. So now we can process maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 petabyte data a month, and it's going to be scale, horizontal, vertical, all different size. Because for our kind of company, we needed that. So we did a lot of innovations last year, to be honest, company.
That's awesome. And can you remind me, and probably people listening, maybe they already Googled it on their phone, but I'm not Googling, I'm listening to you. How much is a petabyte? Because I don't know the conversion.
So 1 petabyte equal to 1024 terabytes. And again, this 1 terabyte equal to 1024 gigabytes. So gigabytes, okay. 1000 gigabytes, so something 1000 gigabyte.
It's a million gigabytes, basically, a petabyte.
Yeah, that's correct. Close to that.
Cool. That's a lot. That's a lot of data. Okay, yeah. Very cool. And so that's today, and it seems to be going really, really well. Congratulations. What's the future for Middleware? Tell us where you're going. What gets you most excited about the future of your business?
The future, what we're trying to do, I think we're trying to automate complete DevOps process, mostly for the observability stacks. AI is coming, and it's dominating the world right now. And just is every single segment there is AI now. In observability, it hasn't happened that much, but we're trying to do it. Like how the engineers go and debug the applications. It's like it was really legacy and old ways now, and we're trying to automate completely for dev and ops team in companies. So the first process we're doing is like nowadays, like now what happened to the companies is like once engineers logging to the observability stack is that they will see the APM, they will see the error from there, they will see a RUM, like real-time user monitoring, they will see an error, they look at metrics, they look at that. We just completely snapshot it. We put our AI agent inside their the infrastructures, and then our AI agent detect actually at the real time. It's like, is there anything is happening? Where is happening? What is happening? Is that actually critical? Is like false positive, or is like sometime some small spike just created or something has happened? Then it's just they send a lot of those noisy alerts. So we reduce noisy alert by almost like 80%, and then is like give you the alerts that actually are criticals. So like you optimize for that. AI is going to be really big for that. We optimize. We're building a lot of things in AI right now, and that's going to be a core focus. And AI is just exciting me right in this time.
I mean, it's an obvious application because AI is really good where there's a lot of data that needs to be figured out. And observability, it's one of the most amount of data in the world. So AI, of course, is going to be very critical, and that's super exciting for the future of middleware. I like to ask this question to my guests. Is there a particular book or a particular quote that has stayed in your mind for a very long time that you think has had a big influence on your life, on your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, there is a book. It's one of the Japanese writer, I think, yes. He wrote a book called Courage to be Disliked. It was incredible books that I really like that book. And then the second book I'm reading is called Subconscious Mind, Power of Subconscious Mind. Is pretty good. There is so many quotes in this book. I can't put it together something like one. But yeah, I think we discussed like a little bit before. You were saying about like what kind of people you meet at YC. I hear this one quote from one of the person is like, show me your friend and I will show you your future. Is so important. So make sure like what kind of people you hang out is really, really important. So show me your friend and I will show you your future.
I should be spending more time with you then. I'm going to hang out with you more. Awesome.
Yeah, anytime.
Sure, let's do it. And if people want to connect with you, follow Middleware, what's the best way to be in touch with you?
Be in touch with me. I think the best way is LinkedIn. I don't know. I'm a LinkedIn person. I'm not a Twitter person. I do Twitter. Is like I will reply if you're gonna send me something there, but I'm a kind of LinkedIn person. Just send me something in LinkedIn.
Don't worry.
I will 100% will accept your request. If it's not a salesy thing, then I will 100% reply as well.
That's awesome. Well, Laduram, thank you so much for being with me today and having this awesome conversation. I hope you had a great time. I did.
Thank you, Gabriel. I did amazing time. This was amazing for us. Thank you, Gabriel, for
Thank you so much. Again, and to our listeners, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe for more conversations like this. And please don't forget to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time on the Lobster Talks, stay bold, stay curious, and remember, those big ideas start somewhere.